So let me throw this at you. Now, in my readings on the subject, it seems to me like a lot of the mechanization things, in specific dealing with more specialized crops, I know some of the ones I've seen are peach pickers, tree shakers. They seem to be coming from abroad.
Yes.
Do you feel that either we're falling behind, or what's the disparity there? Because I just note that I would say, I'm going to throw a number out to 80% of what I read about that seems to be new or different is coming from abroad.
I would say, we're doing some, especially say for like the automation side, agricultural equipment automation side.
Yeah.
We work with some private companies doing some leading edge research here, and yes, it is. A lot of foreign countries, they make the technologies and transfer the technologies from the concept to prototypes,
Right.
and with very strong support from government. Take one example in Japan.
Okay.
Japan did a lot of research on, say, like just peach pickers, just like apple, harvesters, or even tomato harvesters and things like that. And in Japan, since I have a very close working relationship with Japanese scientists there, and they have a lot of government support. Okay. Each year they have sufficient support to carry the technology development, and then after the development, they can transfer to industry. However, we have not yet seen this in the States.
Right.
Okay, and we did a lot of automation research, but mostly it's from the private companies. Support is, and the private companies is, be honest, is private companies. The goal for their running business is to make money. So their goal is, they will develop technologies 5 years down the road, or maximum 10 years down the road. They will not look at 20 years behind, or 50 years from now.
Right.
Those are it's my opinion, is the responsibility of the government. Okay, government need to kick in
I agree.
resources to do this.
Now, interestingly enough, of course, Japan has little or no immigration. Do you feel that is that a part of a driving factor, possibly, of their either need for mechanization, or does that play a part?
I think maybe that's one of the reasons. I would not say Japan has no immigration issue. They do have some immigration issue, but it's not as bad as here.
Right.
And so, since they do not have so many immigrants as we have here, so the problem there is tougher.
Right.
So that's why their government kicked in more resources to develop the technology.
They have that need.
They have that need.
Because they don't.
That's right.
Let me see. I want to make sure I hit my few jotted down. I'm new to this journalism thing, so I tried to have some questions ready. So one specific question I wanted to ask is, in your opinion, are there any crops that cannot be harvested mechanically?
No.
No. So there's a technological solution for them all. We just need the will and the resources to find the solution.
That's right.
Outstanding. Okay. I think we covered this one. Was where is harvesting technology today? I think we've kind of really, that's what we've been talking about. This is not on my list, but this is what I was thinking about, and I didn't jot it down. Now, in the 60s, when they stopped the Bracero program, we saw a big surge in mechanizing and the harvest. Of course, because the cheap labor was no longer available, at least technically.
Yeah.
And I know one of the outcrops of that, of course, was helping third world countries. That technology, of course, filtered down, and now third world countries became somewhat more capable. Do you think we would see something comparable if there was, say, a Manhattan Project style effort to increase mechanization?
Oh, definitely. Because nowadays the machinery technology or mechanization technology is not just to put the bolts and the gears and put them together. We talk about a lot of things is automated or autonomous. For example, we can use the shakes to shake the apple trees, let the fruit fall down and then pick it from the ground.
Right.
But for that, the fruit will fall down on the ground.
Right.
It may damage it. It may degrade the quality of the fruit. And then if we can, the technology is there, we can just pick it. You just use robot to pick it. Okay, to pick it, then the important thing is we need to see where the fruit apple is, right? And then we need to see it's, to distinguish the apple and the leaf. Sometimes they may look, use a human eye because we call it the intelligent, and we can distinguish it. But if we use artificial eye, for example, use the camcorder, and you need some way, some technology to distinguish from apple or leaf, or it's an apple ready to pick, or it's the apple not ready to pick yet. Okay, and those will involve a lot of electronics, a lot of artificial intelligence involved. So for this, that means that farm machinery is not just a piece of iron. So that's why I call it new iron.
That's a great term.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a great term. Okay, one thing you mentioned to me on the phone, and I wanted to get this specifically, is we were talking about, you were saying that there's a high expense to the equipment, but that it tends to pay for itself in 1 year or so.
Yeah, I would say the high expense is, very much depends on the quantity of production. Okay, as we all know, if we just build one machine for a special case, it will be very expensive. Yeah. Okay, but we have one design, but manufacture 10,000 pieces of machine. The overhead, one machine and one sewing machine are the same. Right. Or 1 million machine.
Well, now I've been to, for our anniversary, we tend to go to odd places. And one year we went to Moline, Illinois, Missouri?
Yeah, Illinois.
With the International Harvester Museum.
Yeah.
And of course, my grandfather raises chickens and crops in Maryland, but I've never really talked to him about what equipment costs. And of course, we were pretty astonished because you walk around and see the equipment with the price tags, and it pretty much seemed like everything started at about $250,000. Not that, not unbelievably expensive, but still, I would understand a farmer balking and saying, "Gosh, that's a lot of money."
Yeah, the reason for that is, again, this will be a little bit away from the engineering issue, but more to the economic issue. Before, you just think about it. Long time ago, machines are very small. Okay, because the machines, even today in a lot of developing countries, or even in Japan, developed countries, the machines are small. You do not see a huge machine like here in the States. And for example, in Japan, the average farm is 1 hectare. So there,
wow.
It's almost like nothing, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and then the machine they have is more like a 20 horsepower and something like that. And in the States, we talk about a farm of 1,000 acres, which is a few hundred of hectares.
Yeah.
So we build a big machine.
Right.
So even those machines are very expensive. You talk about $250,000 pieces. But if the $250,000 piece, if you harvest, I would say, just from I would not agree with say there's no technical solution for that. All kind of things is just depend. This is my opinion. Is what are you looking at the first? The human value, technical value, economic value. Everybody has their own opinion. And as an engineer, or especially as an agricultural engineer, what I can say or what I can contribute is, if we work together, we can create proper machinery to support the mechanization of special crops. Okay, and with that, we may still need some laborers, but we could live with less labor than today. Okay, maybe today for a orchard, we need to hire 100 people. and with the mechanization, you may need only 10. Okay, so you could greatly improve the working condition for these 10 employees instead of 100.
Right.
Okay, so this is what my point of view.